If you had the perfect plan to handle stress, to eliminate it, would you use it? Man, I sure like to think so, because stress can be challenging. It can turn us upside down. It can seem never ending. But here's the truth, my friends. We are the ones that give stress that power. We're the ones that make it tough. Today, with episode 15 of my Words of Wisdom, I'm going to show you how to handle stress like a champ. Not just handle stress, but how to use it to your advantage. That's right. Today, I'm going straight out of my 7 books of wisdom. That's right. We're going to go book 2, Turning Anxiety into Power. Now, I do talk about how to handle anxiety in this book, but it's also just as equally about how to handle stress. You notice I'm not saying manage stress or manage anxiety. Yeah, because there's really no such thing. There's a lot of effort wasted on trying to manage those things. We're going to manage something we can manage. A lot of that stuff we can't. But one thing we can always manage, our reaction to it. That's right. Today we learn how to manage your reaction to stress. You bet. This is lesson 1 out of book 2. I'm going to read the quote, and then I'm going to read each section of this lesson. There's the reality, the plan, and the action. After I read it, I'm going to elaborate on it a little bit. Okay. This is a quick one today, but boy, it's powerful. All right, here we go. Here's your quote. The biggest battle with stress takes place between our ears. We either think ourselves into a corner or we answer the bell and fight. Yes, that's what we usually do. We have to make that mindset shift to be able to fight this thing, but we're going to fight smart. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Here's the reality. Here's what I mean by this quote. Stress is a certainty in our lives, but it's ultimately in our hands how much effect it has on us. You know how it happens too. A stressful situation pops up and it negatively consumes most of our thoughts if we don't come up with an answer of relief. It sure does. We then do one of 2 things. We either think ourselves into a seemingly impossible outcome, or we develop a plan to eliminate the threat. It's when we choose to meet stress head on and kick it to the side, we gain control and win. Yeah, we've got to manage our reaction to stress, right? So here's what happens. When stress comes up, we have 3 choices of which we can pursue. The first one, we can take the negative route. We can start thinking over and over again of all the negative outcomes that might come from this stress. If this is going on, oh my gosh, what's this going to do? Let's say I've got a bill I'm not going to be able to pay. Well, if I can't pay that bill, well, I'm not going to be able to pay my electric bill, my car note. It just goes on and on and on. We think ourselves into a seemingly insurmountable situation. We think ourselves into a corner. Okay, that's one option. But the next option 2 is the one we want. We can come up with a solution. Yeah. The third option is we do nothing, which is going to lead us back to number 1, because sooner or later, man, we're going to have to face this stress. And if we do nothing, again, we're giving that stressful situation the ability to grow into something we don't know how to handle it. So the best option is number 2, to come up with a solution. Okay. That's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. The best advice I can give you is to not let things stack upon you. Stress is good at this if you let it have its way. Make a list of things you need to get done. Keep this list in front of you and start checking things off. Be willing to adapt and learn new ways to solve problems when they come up, because plan A is usually a warm-up for plan B, C, and D. I'll explain this. Lastly, don't be afraid to ask for help or an opinion on handling a stressful situation, because the chances are someone you know has experienced the same thing in their past and can offer an excellent remedy. Yes. When stress rings the bell, answer it and fight. You're much stronger than you think. So let's take a second. Let's talk about that plan a little bit more thoroughly. The thing is, you want to make a plan immediately. If the longer we wait, we give this stress time to build, because back to that first option, that's more time for us to think of all the negative things that can happen. Let's say you're driving your car and all of a sudden, man, it's making a noise. Well, we start thinking, well, man, what's this going to cost? What kind of repair? What's going on with my car now? We don't know. We're not a mechanic. What's going on? And we think of the worst. Am I going to get a new motor? Am I going to get a new transmission? And if I have to do that, then I'm going to have to do this. No. Instead of doing that, we're going to make a plan. We're going to think of, what do I need to do to figure out what's wrong with this? Well, we're going to have to go to a mechanic. We're going to have to take it in and have somebody look at the car. There's no sense to worrying about it. We're going to have to make a list. We're going to, okay, here's what I got to do. I got to find a mechanic. I'm probably going to have to arrange for a rent car, or some other means of transportation. This is how we start doing it. We start making a list of things we're going to need to do to eliminate that stress. Now, here's something else I want you. Maybe it's a relationship issue. Maybe there's something not quite right. It's a work relationship with a coworker. There's some tension there, or maybe a romantic relationship, or maybe it's a relationship with your kids or your family. Either way, when there's a need of a conversation to eliminate the stress, because you know how we worry about, oh my gosh, what's going on in this relationship? What's this person thinking? We need to have a conversation with that person. We need to write down the things that are concerning us, and we need to be face to face with that individual and work these things through. That's what I mean by making a plan. Now, you want to keep in mind that plans will need to be, you'll need to improvise. You'll need to make changes. Plan A to eliminate a certain stress may lead to plan B, C, D, and E. You're going to have to change things as you learn more about this stress and how it needs to be handled. Maybe I need to change my plan a little bit. So don't become frustrated when that first plan, man, that you came up with isn't working for you. Okay. So it's need to change as you go. Here's the third part about this, the plan that's really important. Learn from how you handle this particular stress, because this stress is going to come up again, and the same plan may work for a different stress. The key is immediately make the plan, be ready to modify that plan, and learn from it for the next time. That's a great plan, okay? Learn from it. It's going to come back up. Here's your action. Take time today and write one stress you have. And with it, start your list by writing the first thing you can do today to begin putting fear in its place. You can replace that with putting stress in its place, whatever it is, anxiety. Again, write one thing and write one stress you have, one issue you have, and with it, start your list by writing the first thing you can do to begin putting fear in its place. So, you're going to write down, I want you to do this today. One stress I have is, there it is, write it down. And then to start my list, to start my plan, the first thing I can do today to handle and manage this stress is, bam. You start with the first thing, you add to it as you go. This is the action I want you to do today. Let me give you a story. This is a perfect story for this scenario. A friend of mine just took on a brand new job. He was already doing the same line of work, but he got like a 40% raise to come work for this other company. Life was good, man. He was like excited. He felt great. And this was probably one of the most even-keeled people I've ever known. You could not usually tell if he was stressed. If he was, you didn't know it. He calls me one night and he says, look, this job's going great, but I have a concern. Something's bothering me. It's been bothering me for about the last month. He had been there about 3 months, and he said, they're starting to lay people off. Wow. And matter of fact, a few of those people are coming from the very department at which I am managing, and other people that are at the same level he was within the company. He's really concerned now. He goes, Hey, what if I'm next? Cause I'm brand new. I've been here 3 months. I'm high on a list to be laid off. What am I going to do? Am I have to go back to my other company? He had been stressing about this for a month. It was starting to affect everything. He was worried about it driving to work. He was worried about it at work, driving home. His sleep suffered. So here's what I said. I said, man, you got to put into action a plan immediately. We've got to come up with a plan to eliminate this stress. So here's what I suggested he do. I said, you need to write down what you're concerned about, and you need to have a meeting with your immediate supervisor, your boss, an executive level, whoever is directly above you. You need to sit down and talk to them and tell them what your concerns are. He did. He did it the next day. He called me probably 5 minutes after he had that conversation, and he left this message. I didn't get to answer the phone. I was busy, but he left this message. He says, man, everything is great. It's cool. It's not what I thought. Give me a call. So I called him back, and he said they told him, yeah, those layoffs have been planned for about 6 months now. You're part of the new plan. We hired you to take over a lot of what other people are doing because of what your experience is. And we also have plans for you to advance in the company on a fast track. We want you here. This is why you're here. Instant relief, man. I mean, bam, he felt good. He was excited. I could hear it in his voice, how much better he felt. And he actually got a really good night's sleep that night. He learned from this. He actually had a very stressful situation come up with his kid. I mean, very stressful. And he handled it much the same way. Made a list, had a conversation with his kid, changed the plan a little bit, but overall, it turned out great. He paid a price. He paid a price of stressing out for a month. I mean, really letting stress get the best of him because of how he reacted to it, and it affected everything about his life. But now he knows to do that. It was his reaction to the stress that got the best of him. He saw that he gave stress that power by taking choice number one and being negative and ruminating negative thoughts, negative outcomes. Look, when stress hops in front of you, and it comes out of nowhere. You might see it coming or you might not see it coming. Or it could be that third type of stress, the kind we ask for. Yeah, we do that a lot. Either way, the first thing you want to do is choice number two. We want to start coming up with a solution to the stress. We want to make sure that we're not stressing out over trying to manage the stress itself. We want to manage our reaction to it. We can't control that stress, but we can always control and manage our reaction to it. We do that by coming up with a solution. Make a list. Make a plan immediately to start dealing with this. Write a list. It doesn't have to be a long list, 2 or 3 or 4 things. The exact things to what you're going to have to do to eliminate this stress. And remember, that plan can change. So be ready to modify it and always learn from that stress. Learn what you did that was good and what you did that you can do better the next time stress comes popping up, because it will. That's the way life is. Stress is a part of life. And write your stuff down. I would do something every day. I've got a lot of podcasts that ask you to do things, but my 7 books of wisdom, there's 365 quotes, and I ask you to do one action every day. And that action today was to write down the current stress you have and write down one thing. Start your list of things that you need to do to eliminate it. Write that first thing down today, and I hope you do that. The truth is, the biggest battle with stress is between our ears. And we have the power to either give it power to let stress become a big menacing monster that it seems to be, or we can eliminate that threat and choose to manage our reaction to it. And I truly believe after listening to this today, that's exactly what you're going to do. I'm Bobby Wisnan. Thanks for listening.